This season, we sort of made it more about communities and actually took it to, more interestingly, I think, seeing those tribal ones as well, which we did experience in the second series too, but also modern communities that are very fit. And I think that makes the series really, really interesting, you know?
Yeah, I mean, sheep shearing is just a part of the industry, part of the kind of industrial landscape of New Zealand. Like, we were just sort of doing sheep shearing stuff that is just jobs that people have now. You know, it's not like an ancient tradition necessarily that's being kept alive. I mean, it was very exciting.
It was really cool. Looked amazing.
I was awful at it, and I just didn't even. That was probably the thing I was worst at.
Yeah. I mean, and you were bad at quite a lot of stuff, you know. I was quite interested to learn about how to shear the sheep, and it was very physical.
Yeah.
I mean, it killed me. They said to me, like, a fact that doing a day's sheep shearing is equal to sort of the physical output of doing a marathon. And I'd done a marathon, you know, and so I was like, no. I mean, marathon was insane. Did a day of sheep shearing, and I was dead. Dead. It's actually not a bad job.
Yeah, and I was having a good time.
They have worked really hard, and they get absolutely hammered every day.
Yeah, that's an interesting component of that episode.
The Australian...
The New Zealand sheep shearers. The New Zealand sheep shearers...
They work hard.
Like a drink.
Super hard.
Yeah, we finally found something I was good at in the show.
It's like something we realise across the world, actually, is that even if it's, whether it's sort of a social part, as in it was in New Zealand, or whether it's a religious part in terms of Peru.
The Peruvian scissor dances,
Because it's like, in many different cultures, alcohol is just a huge part of it. It's
People
still a
love
huge part
booze.
of our culture now. Yeah. And we had a sort of religious ceremony with the scissor dancers in Peru, and I think it was Pisco, wasn't it? Yeah. Drunk so much, smoked like 14 cigarettes. I don't smoke or drink.
What a religious ceremony.
It was just like, they were like, we're going to do a religious ceremony now. It just like felt like we were in a pub in the 90s.
I mean, were there any jobs in there that you thought, actually, if things did go a bit south, I could go and do this. I could do it. I could cope, and I'd enjoy it.
I didn't mind sumo wrestling.
Yeah, Nish was great at sumo.
I didn't mind sumo.
I was terrible at sumo wrestling. I just don't really have...
You're not very good at any sort of confrontation.
Yeah, this is what we learned in the last series.
Whereas I'm amazing at confrontation.
Nish really...
I love it.
He gets really angry, he just thinks of Brexit and just destroys any opposition.
There's sort of talk about in the show, sort of looking at masculinity and what that means. What did you feel you found out about masculinity by the end of the series?
I don't know really. Masculinity is like a hard thing to define, I think.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing to pin down, yeah.
It's, I think, you know, lots of people are very... I think what is interesting is not necessarily the masculinity of it, it's how... We went to Tahiti and the gender fluidity there is very interesting.
There's a third gender that's part of the ancient cultures of that island, and it's a really interesting approach that seems more flexible about gender and gender roles, and yeah, it was a fascinating thing. That was a really amazing thing. It's. You know, the masculinity thing it comes in a lot of different cultures across the world. It's definitely a thing of like men do, but then a lot of places it's not that. And you know, like when we went to Brazil in the last series, the women were just like so much a part of the community and all helped. Yeah, I mean the Maasai women are sort of lifting huge sort of burdens on their heads. Like, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's mad. So in a kind of a weird way, I think masculinity kind of doesn't exist in a lot of these places, and that's kind of what we found out, really.
Yeah, it's a really interesting thing.
It's more just like men and women have different roles across the world.
Yeah.
But I think that's what we kind of found out.
And just finally, what is the first thing you do when you come home after spending so much time away and sort of mentally and physically exhausted by your antics? What is the first thing you do when you get home?
I don't know.
The first thing is really boring, I think, because if you've been on a plane, the first thing I always just need to do is have a shower.
Yeah.
Like, that's always my top priority.
Well, I always go to the gym and then shower.
Oh.
Genuinely.
Have a day off, mate.
Genuinely, as soon as I land, I always try and go to the gym before I've gone home. Because if I go to the gym before I go home, then I sleep out that night and the jet lag doesn't kick in. But,
have a day off, mate.
So, you know, I hate to be, you know, a parody of myself, but I do like to go to the gym before I go home, guys.